How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting and welcome back to ReWrite. So last time we covered the episode was like right on the precipice of my just horrific, like unfun illness, but we're back. And last time we were finally able to kind of build a bridge with Chihaya and Lucia through some world-class bullcrapping, but we managed to make it through. They shared their parfait even though it was super hot. Chihaya probably wanted to die, but it worked out, and now we're moving forward, and it looks like we've officially launched into the actual, like, Lucia route. So here we go. We're ready to jump in and kind of push forward. I'm excited to see how this all plays out. I'm not sure what to expect. Like, we now have this idea that she has this fear of touching things. And kind of like before, it feels like until like the route actually launches, it kind of sets it up that it's something that could be really manageable, that feels like approachable and something that could be like kind of grounded in reality. And now we're probably going to start seeing like the supernatural stuff come through. So I'm curious to see how that all plays out, especially because we still have our like journey into the forest that we're going to be doing. So I'm guessing we still have a little bit of like auto skipping we're going to be doing, because a lot of that forest, like going into the forest to try and find, oh shoot, I can't remember her name right now. But the reporter girl, we're probably going to skip forward through that and then kind of launch into the post, because that seems to be kind of like the focal branching point. Despite like the fact that we are on the official route now, like it really still seems like that's like the true like focus point of the entire series. So anyway, let's jump right into it, shall we? Day after day, I check my email. More spam. Boy, isn't that a mood. I can count the number of legit messages on two hands. Oh no, this isn't good. This is the kind of work, information is your lifeline. Without anything to start with, there's nothing to investigate. I rack my brain trying to figure a way out. The door opens. Hey, Sizuru. Sizuru stands there. Oh, this is like a... I guess this isn't like truly a new musical score. It's just not super common. Suzuki stands there, carrying some kind of box. What's that?
ポストだ。
Post box?
情報を集めてきた。
Oh, really? For real? Suzuki shakes the box up and down. I can hear a rustling of papers. There's quite a lot inside. Wait, don't tell me you set up an anonymous tip box. I gave up on installing one because I figured we wouldn't get a single lead. I guess physical letters are still alive and well these days.
とりあえず渡しておく。
Alright, alright. Oh, thanks a bunch. This really helps. She waves goodbye. Oh, what about the club? Oh, on the way, huh? Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for dropping this off. Oh, it's nothing. She gestures with an elegant, and as she elegantly takes her leave. That's probably one of the things that's going to be most fun. I love this, like, unspoken dialogue they have. I imagine her route has a lot of that, and it'd probably be really, really fun. Well then, let's have a look inside. Let's see. Asahi Haruka, Cursed Girl. Pretty straightforward, might as well start with this. Seems interesting enough. The submission that I pulled out at random is a letter written on the kind of small, cute stationery particular to girls. On the very front is written, Asahi Haruka, the Cursed Girl. Girls sure love curses, cursed whatevers. Divine punishment, good luck charms, all that stuff. Anyway, let's see. Hello, Occult Research Society. And hello to you too. He's talking in an empty room to a letter. I talk to a camera, but like there's an actual, like, I understand there's somebody actually listening at some point, even if it's not like at this very second. I can feel a little crazy, but like, I know it. He's literally talking to an empty room to a letter. I end up replying to the fan mail. Joking around with no one else to humor me is kind of sad, so let's just move on. Okay, he's self-aware. I'm sure you have more than enough submissions as it is. However, I doubt that any of them are truly of the occult. That is why I'm taking the chance today to submit a true story of a curse. It is truly a dangerous story. Hope the Occult Research Society can verify the truth behind it. Oh, really building me up here, eh? Are you familiar with the story of the cursed girl, Asahi Haruka? If you look into her, you will disturb her sleep, and she will come curse you no matter what. That is what everyone is afraid of learning her story, and quits right there. That's why I would like for your Occult Research Society to investigate the mystery of her curse. You get cursed if you try to find out about her. That's a pretty common motif. Okay, let's keep digging a little more. What's next? There was an orphanage within the forest. In it, many happy children resided. However, one day, a girl named Asahi Haruka came to the orphanage. Since then, the strange and disturbing things have been happening one after another. Things would fall off shelves all on their own. The glass in the windows would suddenly crack. The little birds in their cage somehow lost their song. The kids that had been running around so merrily lost all their cheer. Slowly, the kids and even the adults grew weak one by one and they passed away. Eventually, the orphanage was closed and a great deal of people lost their lives. Dang. You'd feel like that would be a story that like more people would know. Whenever her image is reflected in a mirror, it cracks. I believe this is a particularly related to vampires. Oh, okay. Most likely, the cursed girl, Asahi Haruka, is a living, breathing vampire in the modern era. A vampire? Don't they bite you in the neck and stuff? Huh, they're reflected in a mirror and it breaks. Is that a vampire thing? Well, traditionally, it's like they don't have a reflection, but I mean, it's not too far of a stretch. It's like how they turn to ash when they get hit with sunlight or are weak to garlic and crosses. Guess that's all I know. There's a lot of interesting takes on vampires. Like, you got billions of them. You got the really cursed one, which is the Twilight series with the sparkliness. We don't care about that. I think some of the best depictions of vampires, I like the vampire, like the Masquerade. Vampire the Masquerade, which is like in the darkness kind of conglomerate of TTRPGs. I do like the idea of the culture and like the takes they have on what a society of immortals who feed off of mortals would look like. But I think the best creative expression of various vampire legends into a story that makes it feel like it could be a real thing is in the Dresden series by Jim Butcher. If you ever get the chance and you like occulty type feels, especially like modern but occult feels, absolutely recommend the series. And it's funny because it's one of those things where like the first book is the worst of them and it's still pretty solid, but like the series just keeps getting better and better and better as it goes. I think he's like 10 books in now, 11 books in. I can't even remember. Anyway, so yeah, vampires. Adding to that, those who speak the Asahi Haruka or try to discover the truth behind her will have a terrifying curse placed upon them. In fact, there was an incident around 7 years ago when I was in 4th grade. A boy transferred to the class beside ours. He was from an orphanage that had been closed because of Asahi Haruka. He spoke of Asahi Haruka, and a few days later he died from a mysterious illness of an indeterminable cause. This is not a rumor or hearsay, it truly happened. I heard of Asahi Haruka directly from that boy. There are rumors that he died from a strange sickness because he spoke to everyone about Asahi Haruka. Even now I have nightmares because of how creepy all this is. Still, if I try to talk with anyone about this, I might end up getting cursed, so I've never told anyone. Please, I hope the Occult Research Society can investigate this cursed girl. I wish I could write about her in more detail, but putting it in writing might also bring the curse upon me. The very thought scares me. I apologize for being vague. Still, there are more than a few who know of her. If you search, I'm sure you can find others in this school, ones who have already gone to the same school as the boy who passed away. Perhaps you might even find his classmates. What the heck? What are you talking? What if you talked about her, you get cursed. If you don't tell me anymore, then I won't have anything to work with. This one's kind of meh, I guess. Another page? This one's folded over and sealed with wax. Ooh, fancy. Let's see here. If you break this seal, you may be cursed. A little too late to try and scare me. Let's pop this thing apart. A survivor from the orphanage, the boy who told people about Asahi Haruka and then died a few days later from the mysterious sickness. His name was Kishida Ryuugo. 7 years ago from today, he transferred into Kazamatsuri's 7th elementary school into class 4-1. This is all I can say. Perhaps the curse will befall me too. And now you have read this letter, all of you in the Occult Research Society will be cursed as well. Please discover the truth and break the curse. Please, I beg you. They gave me some proper info to work with at the very end. The 7th element. Wait, isn't that where Yoshino came from? Class 4-1, 7 years ago. Wait, he's the same age as us then. Just asking Yoshino about it should help me dig into the truth of the story. That's actually really convenient, but it makes a lot of sense. With such a specific lead, it would absolutely follow that we would probably find somebody who actually was there, but, you know, a little convenient, it's Yoshino. Even if he doesn't know a thing about what happened, I can have him just show me his yearbook, and that'll be enough. That should be the easiest way to learn about the boy named Kishida Ryuugo, who was potentially cursed and then died. The story itself sounds awfully fishy, and all this talk of curses makes it all awfully cheap. Except, normally people who appear in stories like these are abstract. They avoid mentioning any specific names. Yeah, that's what's really interesting about this lead. Specific names, specific dates, locations. Like, it's not even like pseudo vague. It's like, technically, the incident is super documented. In fact, it's so documented, I would also say it'd be good worth going into the records at the library and seeing if you could pull up newspapers. A lot of newspapers have actually been archived since like the mid 1950s in most places. So if you go to your library and ask them, they usually can tell you where the archive is or even have it on hand. It's really interesting. It was something that I learned through my own high school newspaper, because it was an interesting way to get a reference and also to read other articles and kind of see how article writing has evolved over time. It's kind of like that was the premise of the original project, but like it also was a showcase, this idea of how like tabloids and articles are archived and how we can easily get access to them. It's usually in a Polaroid, like there's a special type of scanner because it was very new technology back in the day and it wasn't digitized, so it still like has physical film. And a lot of it is stayed on that film. I don't know if they've updated a lot of those systems. In this case, though, not only is there a name of a particular school, but of a particular person. It's not often stories like this give such exact details. Well, I bet someone with that name never existed in the first place anyway. And then the crux of the story becomes that he actually did exist, but was treated like a non-person and was removed from the yearbook and so on. The whole spiel about his classmates saying they don't know anything just to avoid being cursed is all a lie. Stuff like that. It's usually how these stories end. These sorts of stories aren't all that different from typical tabloids spreading gossip about celebrities and their sex scandals. With cases like theirs, they'll keep on denying, and if they're cheating on someone, there'll be no funny business. And if they are lying, even if someone calls them out, that's all it'll ever come out to. If they retaliate and try to figure out who said it, the accuser probably stays silent and continues to heap on the attacks while running away. Man, tabloids sure have it easy, huh? They can make up whatever BS they want and no one can even refute them. And it's not just the sex scandals, why not ghost stories too? That said, there's still students who are actually scared of rumors like this and ask us for help. Is that not fitting for the Occult Research Society to investigate the matter and uncover the truth indeed? Let's poke around, see if we can find any good, if it's any good. If it is, I can check it out later. I bet I can get to the bottom of it in no time. Just have to ask Yoshino back in class. I fold up the letter and pocket it. Alright, this is my clue now. Let's see where it goes. I just hope it's the only thing that comes out of this is a publishable article for the Harvest Festival's newsletter. I mean, sounds promising enough. If you can even confirm that some of it's true, that's enough. The cursed girl, Asahi Haruka. With her, the student who was from the same orphanage as her and died of the curse, Kishida Ryuugo. It all seems to be the sort of scary story you'd find floating around anywhere. No, I'm guessing there's a lot more truth to it than it seems.
Ah, そうだぜ。7章の出身だが。
Alright, Yoshino.
それが何だってんだ。
Spill the beans. Knew it. That makes things easier. When were you in fourth grade? What class were you in?
なんでそんなことを聞く?
It's not like I need a reason to ask you, do I?
大方、どこぞのくだらねえ階段でも聞きつけたんだろう。
See, that's a little weird that he kind of knew right away. Yoshino shrugs his shoulders like a hot shot. He clearly has my motives figured out.
悪いが、その話には付き合わねえぜ。俺に死者の眠りを冒涜する趣味はねえんでな。
Wait, what? You mean it's real?
誤解すんな。朝日遥なんて女に心当たりはねえぜ。
God, I like the fact he's name dropping the same name. Oh boy.
だが、岸田龍吾がクラスメイトにいたのだけは事実だ。
Wait, you were in class 4-1.
だからなんだ。てめえには関係ねえだろ。
Did the Kishida Ryuugo guy, did he really die?
転校してきた時から顔色の悪いやつだったぜ。
Oh.
長いこと病院で寝込んでたって話だ。
So he was already pretty sickly.
転校当初から休みがちでな。結局 66クラスにも馴染まねえうちに死んじまったぜ。
Was it some mysterious disease?
んなこと俺らが知るかよ。病気で亡くなったと、後に先生から聞かされただけさ。
That's sad. Like, even if you didn't get to know him very well, like at a young age to have to confront death.
言っとくが、俺は岸田と話をしたことはねえぜ。だから奴のことを聞かれても何も話すことなんかできねえ。それに知ってたって話すつもりもねえな。
Right, right. You know, that stacks.
一度も口を聞いたことがなくても、そして投稿したのが数日間だったにせよ、奴は俺のクラスメートであり、そのフレンドの死をふざけた階段で面白おかしく話す奴らに俺が話をすると思うのか。
Again, Yoshino does kind of have us pegged. Like, I do think I do think he has like ultimately good intentions when like push comes to shove and think like crap's hitting the fan, but ultimately he's looking for entertainment and kind of playing along with this idea of the ORS because the Occult Research Society is kind of his first real chance to feel like he's engaged with school rather than just passively going. Kotarou. Ah, crap, he can get hung up on the weirdest things, and when he digs his heels in, it's really stubborn. Even if I press the issue, he isn't going to say anymore. In any case, I've confirmed that Kishida Ryuugo existed, and that he died of some sickness. That's already big progress. Looks like this clue isn't just pure fabrication. Now that I know for a fact that he was actually a student from the 7th Elementary, there must be others who knew him. I just have to hit them up instead. My bad. I won't ask again. Thanks for the help.
待てよ。なぜこの話を嗅ぎ回る？
Yoshino prods. I've known this guy for some time. Something feels off. This seems to be a pretty sensitive topic for Yoshino. Despite that, he stopped to ask me right as I tried to walk off. Actually, the ORS got a letter in the post. It asked if we could investigate the cursed girl, Asahi Haruka.
おかけんってのはデマの投書があるといちいち裏を取るのか。
I mean, it's in the job description. We're literally the Occult Research Society. It's our job to search for occult, which is aka basically fake stuff. Nah, this is mostly just for my own curiosity. I thought I could use it interesting clues as something to write an article about. Oh, but I'll be sure to maintain his privacy, though. I won't mention his actual name, so don't worry. Yoshino probably feels pretty uncomfortable talking about it. His classmate who passed away from a sickness was used as fodder for some silly ghost story. He must be particularly upset about how it claims he died due to some curse. Yeah, I should have been more sensitive with my wording. Actually, that's why I want to check this whole cursed girl story out. I want to prove it wrong. I'll get rid of that stupid rumor that Kishida Ryuugo died of some stupid curse. I bet whoever sent the clue is still afraid of the curse thing. If I can prove this is all fake, then the rumor will stop spreading. The student who dropped this in the post can finally rest easy. 2 birds with 1 stone. That's how I'll root out these dumb ghost stories. That ought to work for you, right? It'll help Kishida up in heaven feel a bit better at least.
岸田に義理はねえ。お前がそうしたいなら勝手にそうすればいいさ。
A rare moment of support?
だがな、お前との腐れ縁で忠告してやる。
I hope it's not something funny, now that you're giving me a warning, or advice, I suppose.
新聞のネタ探しなら他にいくらでも心当たりがあるだろう。
Ah.
他を当たれ。
I thought that Yoshino was pissed and didn't want me to write badly about the late Kishida Ryuugo, but my instincts were off. He's like, no. Maybe he actually feels there is some truth to this. He's saying like, look, if you just want an article, don't go this way. This is probably just a path of pain. He doesn't owe Kishida anything, but he still wants me to avoid this topic altogether. Wait, don't tell me you actually believe the rumor that you're cursed if you look into the Asahi Haruka. This is where Yoshino would normally grab me by the collar and yell, as if. Except there's no reaction, he's just dead silent. Hey, now, this isn't your usual script.
俺だって今は信じちゃいねえ。
Oh, okay. He did, and so maybe he still has reservations, despite the fact he's pretty sure it's not real. Not very assertive of you. What, you used to believe it? The lone wolf in the underworld? The one and only Yoshino?
だな。ざまあねえ話だぜ。
Yoshino. Unbelievable. Yoshino, of all people, actually cowered in fear of the whole cursed girl stick. What the heck? Now things are starting to get good, considering my curiosity well and truly peaked.
理屈じゃ分かってる。呪いなんてあるわけがねえ。そいつを認めるってことは、フレンド岸田の死を冒涜するってことだ。奴は運がなかった。病気で死んだ。だがそいつは、奴と病気と病院の問題さ。それを呪いだのたたりだのなんて話を後付けにされたら、奴も天国で浮かばれねえってもんだぜ。
I mean, probably, but you didn't know him that well, did you? I mean, he talks about him like he doesn't really know him, but then he also seems like to care like way too much to be someone who's completely objectively just kind of aloof.
岸田がいた孤児院を知ることができれば、噂の真相もわかるだろうよ。
So he was at the orphanage.
転校生ってのは、どんなにネクラなやつでも、最初の数日はチヤホヤしてもらえるもんだ。その時に話して、岸田からその孤児院の名前を聞いたやつも、クラスメートにはいたかもな。
Again, Yoshino with really good information, and he's pointing this out. It's really interesting because he just kind of tried to say, hey, don't look into this. But now he's actually giving us a good, solid, like, follow-up lead. It's something we might have figured out if we thought about it, but at the same time, like, this idea of, like, hey, people who are new, despite how antisocial they are, get attention. Somebody probably talked to him. Any ideas?
俺にはねえし、悪いが調べる気もねえ。クソったれ。呪いなんてあるわけがねえと、理屈じゃ分かってんのにな。
I'm not gonna point and laugh. I'll investigate myself. Leave it to the ORS's last hope, Tennouji Kotarou.
てめえが勝手に調べるってんなら、俺は止めねえ。家を漁れば、当時のクラスの連絡網を見つけられるだろう。どうして持ってんなら、明日持ってきてやるぜ。
Again, he's offering to help. He's trying to make it sound like he's like, whatever, you know, being a very tsundere type guy. But at the same time, like, the fact that he's offering to help is really odd. Sure, that'd be great. Yoshino pledged to help with the investigation. But Yoshino, who isn't just from the same school, but was a classmate with Kishida Ryuugo himself, is actually afraid of the cursed girl story, unbelievable as it may seem. This is Yoshino we're talking about. There must be something that happened for him to actually believe in the so-called curse. After 7 years, he finally managed to get over the idea that it was a curse. Despite that, he still fears it, be it a curse or something else entirely. It's to the point where he even warned people of the supposed curse whenever they try to look into it. Even the student who got sent the submission asking for the ORS to look into it was afraid that they themselves would get cursed. What if it's not a curse? What if it's a cover-up? So, what if there was something fishy that happened at that orphanage? You know, my stab in the dark would be that Lucia is somehow involved. Maybe she's this Kishida girl or whatever, and she has some kind of history with the orphanage in itself. But whether that almost seems too obvious, so maybe that's not actually what it is. But there is going to be some tie to it, so maybe when it gets right down to it, what happened was involving somebody with powers and was covered up by Guardian. And so that's what's going to happen, is that we're going to stumble into this old case file, and the reason why there's a curse isn't that people are actually cursed, it's that when people are digging too deep into this and starting to learn too much, the Guardians come in and intervene, spiriting people away, inducting them into their organization, or eliminating them. So it's not actually a curse, but it might as well be, because it's like, if you learn too much, if you find this information, like, people come after you and you are made to vanish, and that would look a lot like a curse. But the other side of it is that this is a kid we're talking about, and this kid seemed sickly and died. So maybe the kid passing and everyone else at the orphanage might be associated with some kind of, I don't know, like a plague spreader or something. What's up with this story? It's not just some cheap urban legend or something.
Tennouji.
What? He's probably gonna call me an idiot for being so swayed by a silly ghost story. Alas, the words he uttered are only compound my fears.
やばいと感じたら、すぐに手を引け。
He genuinely is terrified of this. Holy crap. Dangerous? What do you mean?
お前がそう感じた時だ。
He's like, listen, just trust your gut. If it feels weird, get out. Come on, man. It's not like you to scare me like that.
だな。すまなかったぜ。今のは忘れろ。
Tell me, Yoshino, no BSing here.
何も話したくね
Not that. Is this whole thing really that dangerous?
え。ああ。
Fetch me. Yeah, I'm guessing that it's going to be a guardian, like it's a curse, but it's actually guardian interfering with people's lives.
どうしたのかね、小太郎くん
Hey,
や。
Kotari.
ずっと元気がないさね。
I'm so happy to see Kotari. Ah, you're just a bundle of happiness. Hmm? Really? Dang, it's because Yoshino scared me like that. When someone like Yoshino actually gets dead serious, talks so ominously like that, it gets me really anxious. I freaking agree. It's disconcerting. Man, I can't get hung up over this. At this rate, I'm probably gonna pin it on the curse if I so much as step in the pile of dog poop. There's no such thing as curses. If they think they're cursed, people tend to attribute misfortunes or a streak of bad luck to the curse instead. Man, I might actually get cursed if I'm being this fearful. Thinking positively, the story isn't a pure fabrication, at least. Even Yoshino's quaking in his boots, and it's a bona fide ghost story, the perfect clue for the ORS. Kotari, what do you know about the story of the cursed girl Asahi Haruka?
知らないね。どんな話？
There's this cursed girl. Once she appears, everyone around her slowly gets weaker and dies.
それで？
And then that's it.
オチは？
There's none.
いまいちな話だね。鹿島玲子さんの話とかの方が面白いよ。
Ah, yeah, the one about the girl with missing legs. You have to answer her. Heard about it from Kashima, or else she'll take your legs away, right? Or like, what's the other one that common, like the smiling lady?
あの幽霊はトイレに出るんだってね。私、今でも夕方に一人でトイレに入るときは、鹿島玲子さんって即答できるように、心の中で復唱してるよ。
That sounds very much like a childhood thing. It's funny because like when it comes really right down to it, I feel like all of us who went to a public school, especially, like there were always ghost stories. You know, I imagine it was a kind of a ubiquitous thing that all of us experienced. For me, there was a lot that was that kind of bordered the back corner of the playground. And unlike most of the other lots, which there was like a church that was nearby and then a bunch of just backyards of people's houses. But this one was kind of like a patch of soil that had a couple sheds at the end of an alleyway, and nothing ever happened. Like no one ever was seen there. The sheds never changed. It didn't look like anyone ever used it. It was just kind of there. And so that was the haunted corner where they were hiding bodies in the sheds and stuff, you know. Typical grade school stuff. And that's what this Kashima Reiko thing sounds like. It's like the ghost story that you hear in elementary school. Stories like that are pretty good. They force you to remember some keywords to stick in your head and keep the details fresh in your memory. It's a clever trick.
紫鏡は知ってる？
Purple mirror. Ah, yeah, that one. Oh, but I guess we're gonna die when we hit 20, huh? If you still remember the phrase purple mirror by the time you hit 20, then you die of a curse, or so the urban legend goes. Once you hear the story, the phrase purple mirror will be stuck in your mind. The only escape is to forget it before you're 20, except it makes you more liable to remember the phrase instead.
私、頑張って忘れようとしてるんだけどね。
Yeah, now you've doomed me.
英単語はポンポン忘れられるのに、紫鏡だけはダメなんだよ。
Good luck. I'll remember to write you a letter with those words one day before, the day before your 20th birthday, I promise.
なんでそんなことするの？ひどいよ。
Aww. Our silly exchange helps to blow away my feelings of unease. Memorable ghost stories are like that. They plant certain keywords into your head, they stick around for a long time. If that's the case, then what about Asahi Haruka's story? It's structured to be a complete opposite. If you ever try to find out about her or get involved in any way, you get cursed. In other words, it's the kind that demands you forget about it instead. I mean, who'd want to get cursed? Again, now that I've phrased it in this idea that like it's guardian, that's like saying, oh, you're getting too close to a secret, and they're like taking people away or spiriting them away or wiping their memories or something, it would kind of look like a curse. Until someone admirable like me shows up to uncover the truth, no one will actually go out of their way to learn more about it. I suppose this Asahi Haruka ghost story is destined for a fairly short life in this school.
へえ、吉野くんが怖がるほどのね。
Yeah, that's what I said. This might be a lot more interesting than it seems. Plus, it seems like it'll be Yoshino's Achilles heel. Boy, that sounds really juicy, alright. Now I'm really fired up.
しかし珍しいね。普通、階段の当事者ってのは特定できないもんだけどね。
Again, yeah. Maybe they just threw real people's names in there. If that's the case, I'd feel terrible for the dead that got involved.
そうだね。勝手に呪われて死んだことにされちゃ気の毒だね。
Right? All the more reason to bust this wide open. This isn't just about looking into the occult. I think taking down false superstitions is also part of the ORS's work. Pretty interesting stuff, right?
頑張ってね。でも、気をつけてね。
That was the most muted kombatte I've ever heard. Careful? Of what?
いろいろ。
Yeah, sure. Just stuff. The next day. Just as promised, Yoshino brings his old class directory from his time at the 7th Elementary, Class 4-1. It's a vital record containing a number of addresses of all his old classmates.
俺にできる協力はここまでだぜ。あとはお前のラックを祈るほかね。
Thanks, man. I don't want to be too much trouble.
そうであってほしいぜ。もうビビっちゃいねえ。俺のくだらねえタイガーホースともそろそろ決別する時ってことさ。
Raw deal? Yeah, like, that's a weird way to go about saying that.
トラウマとも言うな。
Okay, so I'm guessing it's a Japanese word association thing where things sound similar because ordeal for raw deal kind of has that word association, but it's one of those ones where, like, that's a tough thing to translate. It's one of those, because it's more cultural and less, like, literal. And so, like, yeah, it's like, do you go for the literal translation, even if it's confusing because it doesn't seem, like, associated at all? Or do you alter the translation to make it so that there is an association that seems remotely similar to what they're saying? Like, that's a tough judgment to make. Yoshino throws in a dumb pun to lighten the mood. I guess he's the same as whoever sent the story about the curse girl. He's just another person who wants to prove there isn't any kind of curse involved. This directory doesn't have the name Kishida Ryuugo on it.
そりゃねえだろうさ。連絡網を作ろうって話よりも早く死んじまった。
Yeah, they usually don't make those until, you know, the end of the year.
奴が通ったのは多分2週間もなかったはずだ。
Only 2 weeks, and he wasn't even there for those 2 weeks. Kishida must have been in a terrible shape, but he still forced himself to go back to school?
もともと余命いくばくもなく死ぬ前にもう一度学校に通いたいってわがままで転校してきたんじゃないかって噂もある。
So, like, he was on his way out, and like, there was nothing anyone could do, and so they tried to give him as much of a normal life as possible.
確かに転校生の挨拶の時から思想が出てる男だったぜ。
Are there any classmates that he was close with?
俺は知らん。すまんが、それ以上の協力はしねえ約束だぜ。
Fair. Right. Thanks.
その連絡網は一応俺の思い出のヒストリーってやつさ。なくされちゃたまらねえ。コピー。
Yeah, you're right. I'll just make a copy of your directory. You have nothing to do with this. That way, the curse won't have anything to do with you, right?
うるせえ。なくされたくねえだけだ。
Like, I'm trying to avoid that. I have to make a copy of it on the way back home, right? No, wait a minute. There should be a copier in the school's printing room, right?
院長、ちょっといいか。
Oh?
はい、何ですか？
すまないが、こいつをクラス全員にコピーして配ってくれんか。これ、原稿。あと、コピーカードな。
I see where this is going. Golden opportunity. Oh, could the timing be any more perfect? Actually, now that I think about it, the school's copier does have a card to work, doesn't it?
何か用か、天王寺小太郎。
No, it's nothing. I was just thinking that you must have it rough helping the teachers out. I thought you might need some help.
ありがとう。気持ちは嬉しいが、このプリント1枚を人数分コピーしてくるだけだ。大した仕事じゃない。そのわらばんしは何だ？
Kotarou sighs. Looks like she's figured out why I offered to help her in the first place. Okay, first of all, look at that face. It's like, really? Really?
学校のコピー機は使用厳禁だぞ。ダメだ。
Just one copy, please. Come on, I'm begging ya. I helped you make it up with Chihaya, didn't I?
そういうのは借りのある私が恩義を感じて言い出すものだ。恩着せがましい。
How Machiavellian of you. I love that. Machiavelli, by the way, if you've never read The Prince, you should. It's not that long, and it genuinely explains a lot of really interesting concepts and philosophies that get behind a lot of the things you'll see in politics and business. It's a worthwhile read. And some people, I've heard people talk about it like, it's this awful book. It's a terrible, Machiavelli was a terrible person. Like, I don't think so. I think he was pragmatic, and that's the thing. It's like, it sucks sometimes, but reality is not ideal. And he was kind of coming from a position of saying like, look, I tried to do the ideal and it utterly ripped me to shreds. So learn from my mistakes. Is it perfect, or is it a standard we should shoot for? No, absolutely not. We should always shoot for greater ideals and push for higher expectations of each other. But we also should stay grounded in reality a bit, and I think it's a good way of doing that. So I highly recommend reading the Prince. What? So your gratitude is worth nothing but words then? Aw, fetch.
今回だけだぞ。ついてこい。
I'm worried because if Lucia is involved, like what if she is this girl? Like all he has to do is name drop maybe the boy from the orphanage, or the story, or the name, and it could send her into a spiral. Lucky me, save 10 yen a copy. 10 yen. It's like, isn't that like equivalent of a penny, or like a nickel? I stick real close to class rep as we head to the printing room, which is just beside the staff room. We step inside. I'm not allowed to use the copier for personal reasons, and you need to borrow a card from the staff room to use it in the first place. So this is the first time I'm using it. Well, I've used copiers at convenience stores countless times, so I should have no problem operating this thing. It's only one copy of one sheet anyway. Just have to press start and it'll be okay. Glass rep slides the card in with a smooth, practiced motion. She steps aside, gesturing that I can go first. Oh, thanks. It's just one sheet, so it'll be done fast.
何のコピーだ?
Oh boy. Here we go. Here's where I'm like, she's gonna see it. She'd be like, uh-oh. Sorry, but it's a secret. If you find out, you might get cursed.
何のいたずらを始めたやら。早く済ませろ。今回だけだぞ。
Lucia turns her back to me. She's clearly miffed. I shrug. While she's looking away, I grab the directory from my pocket and make a quick copy. If this is actually going to get people cursed, then it's better I limit how many people get involved. A copier buzzes to life. It's just one sheet, so it's done in a flash. Alright, the copy came out nice and clean, no problems. Thanks again, class rep.
これで借りは返したぞ。
Oh, absolutely. Come on, we're making up with Chihaya really measly 10 yen? So cheap. Well, whatever. I dash back to the classroom immediately.
あの件はもっと感謝しているというのに。
We left the original. We left the original in the machine. The copy is still running. Tennouji, you fool. Did you set to print 2 copies? I know I shouldn't look at people's personal things, but I did pique my interest. I take the sheet that comes out of the copier.
なんだこれは。
Here we go. Oh. Oh. Holy crap. Oh no. That's not good. Do not wake me up. On it's printed something rather strange. Did Tennouji really go through all that trouble just to photocopy this?
あいつの考えることはわからん。
Okay, you know what? I was wrong. I had some ideas and thoughts I knew where this was going. Looks like I am completely off the rails here. I don't see why he went through all the trouble just for this. In any case, I should hand this to him, even though it's an extra copy. Can't just leave it here. That's terrifying. I head back to the classroom and pass the directory back to Yoshino. Thanks again.
せいぜい用心しろよ。
Seriously, what happened to the got you this spooked?
てめえの身に何も起こらなかったら、その時何でも話してやるさ。
So he said,
俺を笑い飛ばしてくれ。
oh boy, Yoshino. He's just like, hey, he's like, nothing's gonna happen, then no worries, just pretend I'm an idiot.
それで俺は悪夢の一つから解放される。
Quit messing around, just tell me. How long do I have to wait until you feel like talking? How about 3 days from now? If nothing happens to us after 3 days, you just tell me what happened.
そん時、
Leaving me with those words, Yoshino turns his back on me. Just what happened 7 years ago. Kishida Ryuugo died after being cursed by Asahi Haruka. Yoshino wasn't even particularly close with him, either. Something must have happened in his last moments that frightened Yoshino. This is looking real interesting now. Bit of the out of season, but let's do a test of courage.
触れたら気をつけろ。
Huh? Huh? What'd you say? Sounds like Yoshino tried to warn me about something with his back turned. I couldn't quite hear him, though. What'd you say, Yoshino? He slowly turns around. And then he repeats what he said.
ガラスが割れたら気をつけろ。
If glass breaks... Glass? The mirror! Oh, okay, so there's something... Okay, there's definitely something really interesting here, because there's consistency between people who don't know what information we were given.
ガラスが割れたらそれが警告だ。
Oh my gosh. I'm getting freaking chills. What do you mean?
そのままの意味さ。嗅ぎ回った男はそいつを無視して大怪我をした。
But what are you supposed to do if glass shatters it and, like, you know something's coming? Like, what, just avoid all glass for the rest of your life? Wait, so you're telling me that someone else like me showed up, sniffed around, ended up getting whacked by the curse?
あれを呪いだと思った奴は助かった。そうだと思わなかった男は一歩間違ったら死んでただろうぜ。
Okay, so maybe it's like a limited curse then. All just a coincidence, right? If you're all cursed, then curse this, curse that, then you're gonna end up blaming the curse for stabbing your pinky toe on a cabinet.
もうそれ以上は話したくねえ。
You sure told me a lot, all things considered. Thanks.
てめえに何かあったら寝覚めが悪いからだよ。勝手に呪われて大怪我しやがれ。そしたらてめえの末路も新しい階段に加えてやら。
Again, it's so weird hearing him take it so seriously. Yoshino is dead serious. We don't go back far enough to be considered childhood friends, but we've known each other for a while. That's exactly why I can tell this is a serious warning from him. His eyes, there isn't a single hint of joking around in them. Yoshino is seriously telling me to be careful. Just the eyes alone tell me that much. Oh my gosh. Yes, he's already warning me.
待ってくれ、天王寺。すまない。うっかり忘れていた。
Why is it dark outside right now? What the fetch? Why does it look so weird? Oh, what could it be? The weather's been pretty bad since this morning. Oh no! The winds have been getting stronger, as if it's howling and gusts themselves are warning me. In the middle of all that, class rep calls out to me. Ever since I got myself involved with this curse gold business, not only Yoshino, but even Kotarou has warned me. Don't tell me the class rep's gonna caution me not to get in any deeper too? Class rep, you're not gonna tell me to quit meddling in all this too, are you?
深入り？何の話だ？
Huh? Class rep looks at me puzzled. After which, she pulls out a folded piece of paper and hands it to me. Indeed, omens aren't just limited to howling of the wind or friends cautioning me. Sometimes they can be a lot more direct. Oh my gosh! What is this? It's saying more? Oh, fetch! That's terrifying. I unfold the sheet the class rep hands me. On it, some small, girly handwriting. As for what this writing means, this is a warning.
何を驚く？お前がコピーしたんだろうが。
No. A copy? I don't know what the heck this thing came from. Besides, look at the handwriting. It's clearly a girl's. Does it even look like mine?
お前がコピーしたものだろうが。大方、ボタンを押し間違えたのだろう。
Lucia's being the very reasonable person here, yes.
お前は2枚コピーしたんだ。お前が印刷室を出て行った後に、これが印刷されてきたんだぞ。
Yeah, Lucy, I know I'm a goofball, but trust me, no. Why would I even make 2 copies? I'm absolutely certain I only made 1. Besides, this printed on the sheet of paper the class rep handed to me is completely different from the directory I borrowed from Yoshino. Maybe it's a fax from someone.
学校のコピー機にそんな機能はないぞ。
Come on now, I wouldn't photocopy something this weird.
お前のことだから、どうせ何かのいたずらに使うのだろうと思っていたぞ。
Fetch me.
もっとも、何のいたずらに使うのか、ケン？
I swear, what the heck is this? Do not wake me up, otherwise you will... What the hell? Are you threatening me now?
え?
She's like, wait, what are you talking about? Do not wake me up, otherwise you will... You will what?
ちょっと見せてみろ！いいから！
Oh. So maybe she does know about this. Whoa, relax!
バカな。
There should be only 1 line written on it. But how? There's another line. When did this... Hey, what's going on? Is there something wrong? After class rep yanks the letter out of my hands, her eyes grow wider. She's practically glaring at the sheet. Is there something weird about it? Didn't she hand it to me herself? And she should have already read its contents. Seriously, class rep, what's going on here? Hey, class rep? I'm begging ya, could you say something? This is seriously creeping me out. I try to play off my anxiety with an awkward smile. However, even after seeing my reaction, class rep doesn't lighten up her expression at all.
すまん。私の気のせいか、勘違いだろ。
Oh, fetch me, I'd be freaking out. What exactly were you imagining? Just tell me if it wasn't a joke.
気のせいだったと言っている！
She flat out refuses to tell me. Finally, she shrugs and flashes a faint smile. Her expression isn't one of relief, though. She's clearly forcing herself to accept something, even if she isn't comfortable with it. That's what her expression is telling me, anyway. Haha. Haha. Maybe it was your imagination this was something I photocopied, too?
そうなのか。
Yeah, this isn't what I made a copy of. It's something else. Like, maybe someone left it in a tray, and it happens with convenience store copiers too, right? I bet this is a photocopy someone left behind. You probably thought I accidentally made 2 copies and left one. Now we're starting to really grasp for, like, please, explanations. I mean, the sad thing is, like, without having seen these things myself, I'd be like, yeah, this actually makes a lot of sense. But now I'm, like, seeing these things. I'm like, oh, no. You think about it that way, everything lines up, right? She's like, I don't know. Tennouji Kotarou continues to reason his way out of this. But how does that make any sense? I saw everything from the moment he operated the copier with my very own eyes. The sheet came out only after he set it up. There can be no other way for this to have been photocopied until Tennouji himself operated the machine. Wait, that's not the issue here. Who cares who made a copy of this? This is only distracting me for what I actually cannot comprehend. Just how did another line of text appear on the page? Quit it. I don't know what else is on your mind, but I'm pretty sure I already said your answer. I said your answer. You answered your own question.
気のせいだと言うのか。
Yeah, but how could something I never even photocopied come out of the copier? It doesn't make sense.
そうだな。
Yeah, totally your imagination. What else could it be? Oh no. You better watch out if glass breaks. There's a glass window right beside us, and a crack runs right through the pane of glass. A single straight line, completely unlike how glass shatters in a web of cracks like after a ball crashes into it. Oh no.
なんだ、誰か石でも投げたのか。けしからん。
Lucia, please. We need to go. It's only natural for class rep to assume that. Glass doesn't just shatter on its own. Anyone's first thought would be someone outside threw something against it. Of course, there's no way you wouldn't notice if something hit the glass hard enough to crack it. And indeed, neither of us noticed anything hitting the glass.
くそ、誰もいないぞ。逃げ足の速いやつね。
She opens the window and checks, but there isn't anyone outside the building. Looks like class rep believes it was someone who threw a rock at the window and ran off somewhere. Believes? Then what do I believe? Warning! Warning! Okay, we're gonna end it here. We're gonna just... Oh boy. Oh no. Oh, this is gonna be intense. I like this so far though. Holy crap. Like, I'm genuinely like chilled. Like, I was feeling nice and pleasantly warm, and now my hands feel icy, and I'm like, oh. I've always loved ghost stories. I've always enjoyed the concept of them. I mean, maybe not so much like the departed spirits of the damned and like, you know, trying to like pester people. Like, that's kind of silly and really sad if you think about it. But I don't have any issue with like hearing ghost stories. I've never found them truly scary. In fact, I'm the kind of guy who I kind of would love to go through something like this, which is weird to say. Like, if I were actually going through it at the time, it would genuinely be terrifying. But I'm such a curious person, and I'm so intrigued by the idea that part of me just wishes it would happen if it were real, because I'd like to be able to I'd like for part of me to know that it's actually a thing, right? I'm the kind of person who finds ghost stories fascinating and hauntings fascinating. Like, I don't give credence to it. I feel like the reality shows where they're ghost hunting are scams. I think that's just them kind of raking in money and like hamming things up. And like, I'm like 90% sure that they like either orchestrate or exacerbate things that happen to make good TV, because, you know, there's motivation for that. I'd be a little more inclined to believe something like a YouTube channel, but even then, like, I still would suspect like foul play, because it like makes you popular and makes it interesting if you found stuff. But I also am the kind of person who legitimately would be willing to go camping in haunted houses or graveyards, because I don't think anything would happen that wouldn't be perfectly explainable. I don't think that they're scary. In fact, I think graveyards are really cool, which is really odd to say, but like, for people, some people feel like it's awkward or creepy because you're near bodies, but that's the thing. It's like they're all buried. They're perfectly safe away from you. So for me, I find it fascinating to look at the gravestones, because they tell a story about the person who was buried there. And more importantly, though, they tell a story about the family who buried them. And it also is like really interesting to reminisce and consider about, like, you know, the lives of people who have lived in the distant past or recent past. I find it all very contemplative, you know, almost like a meditative thing, just to kind of reflect on the, you know, finality of things, and the fact that, you know, not everything lasts forever. And I find it a good exercise mentally. I think it's really nice. And then I also think things like family history are really fascinating too. So I just wouldn't have a problem with that. In fact, I someday hope to like go spend the night at a haunted location. Nothing's gonna happen there really, but like, I think it'd be kind of a fun experience. So yeah, that's the kind of person I am. So like, I would kind of be really interested to see if there's something like this would happen. But again, if I actually saw this type of thing going on and saw these like incidents that are clearly like not normal, it would start getting really scary. And that's part of what makes it so fun, because like, it would never happen, but if it did, that's the question. That's what makes it so interesting, isn't it? So yeah, I'm excited to see this through for sure. But yeah, we're going to wait, and we're going to see the culmination of all this intensity next time. So I imagine we're going to have a heck of a night where we're going to try and potentially avoid death by the skin of our teeth. And then we're going to have to talk to the ORS people, and Lucia's going to actually be behind us, and Yoshino's going to freak out, and maybe we'll make a Scooby-Doo gang, and we'll go and investigate this very real feeling like activity. Ooh, I wonder what Prez was gonna say, because she's always been the person who's like dismissive. But now we have multiple witnesses and multiple testimonies and like real names and real events, and like, if they hang out with us long enough and they hear about this enough, they might actually witness these things themselves. And like, what's class rep gonna say? Like, what's Prez gonna say then? Because that's gonna be an interesting thought. Anyway, hope you all have a great day. Thank you so much for sticking it out with me and enjoying this as much as I enjoyed making it, because, oh, this is getting spicy. So I can't wait to see what happens next. Thank you so much, especially to the patrons and members. Thank you for, you know, believing in me, especially when I get sick and I can't post. You know, I feel bad. I love making content. I like being consistent. So I always feel bad when I don't post, but having so much support, in spite of the fact that, like, I just was not able to make content for a little while, Appreciate you being here for me. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And until next video watching me, I've seen me next. I'll see you there.